The two met at a party in Sheffield where Murphy approached Bryden with a chat-up line, "Do you like my tight sweater? See how it fits my body." That sentence became the debut album's title.
Hey, everybody out there. Welcome back to another episode of the Audiophiles. It's Andy, it's John, and as always, it's time to listen to some music. So, John, what are we checking out today, buddy?
Okay, now something completely different. The band is called Moloko.
Moloko. All right.
I mean, you can say it all sorts of different ways. Moloko, Maluku. But yeah,
Moloko.
Moloko. And yeah, the track is "The Time Is Now."
Time is now. Okay, Moloko, the time is now.
Quite accurate, yes.
All right. Well, I've got everything I need and a pretty blank slate. So let me go out and see if I can fill it in by giving this song a listen. Acoustic bass with some acoustic guitar in there.
You're my last breath, you're a breath of fresh air to me. I am empty, so tell me you care for me. You're the first thing and the last.
Tick-a-tit, whatever that is. Love it. Her voice, the sound of her voice matches so well thus far anyway, the sentiments that she's espousing. There is almost this feeling of need and dependency and this sort of like and it's a delicate one in her voice. But the lyrics, I mean, there's a delicate nature to an airy nature to the way she sings, but the words that she's singing perfectly match that sound because they do sound like I was suggesting they're sort of like codependent or reliant on this other individual. Like there's this infatuation that borders on like need, and so I think that they go hand in glove together. The sound of her voice and what it's saying. I love the music thus far. It's from the opening there with the acoustics into this interesting rhythmic movement to it all. Yeah, good stuff. Let's pull that back.
You're my last breath,
That
you're
heart
a breath of fresh
bass
air
drum.
to me.
Slightly
I am
elevated heartbeat.
empty, so tell me you care for me. You're the first thing and the last thing on my mind. In your arms I feel sunshine on a promise,
That industrial
a
sound there.
daydream yet to come. Time is upon us, oh, but the night is young. Flowers blossom in the winter time. In your arms I feel
That's sustained.
sunshine.
Give up yourself unto the morning. The time is now. Give up yourself.
This is like a Jamiroquai track came out of left field. I didn't see it blossoming into this like acid jazzy, almost disco like aesthetic, but here we are. Loved the percussive sounds that were injected periodically as the song kind of grew into itself and progressed in that opening bit. Yeah, that was really, really interesting stuff. Let's try to take it back to where it kind of turns into this Jamiroquai type sound.
Arms I feel, sunshine.
Give up yourself unto the moment. The time is now. Give up yourself unto the moment. Let's make this moment last.
You may find yourself out on limb for me. Could you accept it as part of your destiny? I'd give all I have, but it's not enough, and my patience are short. So I'm calling your bluff.
Give up yourself unto the moment. The time is now.
It's like hand claps or something in it that's giving the rhythm almost this galloping like feel to it, which is really interesting stuff. That's something, I'm sure it's more than that, but for me, what I'm cluing in on is what sounds like these like little hand claps that are coming in that gives it this forward propulsion. For some reason, I'm astride a horse.
Give up yourself unto the moment. Let's make this moment last. Give up yourself unto the moment. The time is now. Give up yourself unto the moment. Let's make this moment last.
And we gave it time. All eyes are on the clock.
It's almost
Time
like
takes
Spanish
too
guitar,
much
but not really.
time. Please make the waiting stop. And the atmosphere is charged. And in you I trust. And I feel no fear as I do as I must.
Give up yourself unto the moment. The time is now. Give up yourself unto the moment. Let's make this moment last. Give up yourself unto the moment. The time is now. Give up yourself unto the moment. Let's make this moment last.
Tempted by fate, and I won't hesitate. The time is now.
It's almost like the school. She attended the school of Bee Gees on her vocal delivery. It's just so up there and like delicate, and it sounds like it's on the verge of breaking, but it also sounds so good. Yeah, let's take that back a little bit.
This moment last.
Tempted by fate, and I won't hesitate. The time is now, and I can't wait. I've been empty too long.
The time is
The
now.
chance and night is gone, and the time has gone.
Let's make this
And the
moment
night
last.
is young.
The time is now. Let's make this moment last. Give up yourself unto the moment. The time is now. Give up yourself unto the moment. Let's make this moment last.
I love the sustained string and that tinkling of the keys. Now, which one will outlast the other? keys 1. This is almost eerie. Like some early 90s horror flick soundtrack. Oh, yeah, I really like that. I didn't think we were going to end up where we did. I mean, I really enjoyed how it began, but I also enjoyed where it took us. And that was a fun little, I don't know, there was like this, definitely, again, the Jamiroquai acid jazz is in there, but I guess it kind of goes hand in hand because they would do this all the time too, which is like disco would obviously show itself at some point throughout any given track by them, and we have that same sort of blueprint on display here. Yeah, I could see folks getting down dancing to this one, but it really, really interesting stuff. I love the strings in this and the interplay between the strings and the keys. Their dynamics were really lovely, and in the earlier going, these sort of auxiliary, slightly low or in the distance kind of percussion elements or percussive elements that were injected here and there. This odd bit of friction sound, this interesting like industrial almost clang that was very faint but very much there. The play of the acoustics in the beginning of the track were really great, and her voice just had me invested because of the sound that it had, this airy, delicate nature. That's almost like, I don't know, kind of like otherworldly, like sort of like a pixie or something like that. I really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a love song, or a song from the vantage point of someone who clearly has strong feelings about another person and wanting to, you know, make this moment last, and they bring you sunlight or sunshine or whatever it is. It's pretty cut and dry in that regard, unless I'm totally missing something. But yeah, I really loved the arrangement of this song and how it progressed. So yeah, this is a winner for me. Not one of my go-to genres, but there's definitely songs within this subgenre that I gravitate toward. I don't know how many times I can bring up Jamiroquai or what John says. What is it? The twat in the hat. But yeah, this was good. Really good stuff. I'd be interested to learn more about them and this track, this album. So let's get back to the man who recommended it and chop it up with John.
Boris Pasternak, he's back. So you've had to listen to The Time Is Now by Moloko. What do you reckon?
This was something different, if I may be so bold. You were right there. And that's a good thing. I enjoyed giving this thing a go. It was interesting. It definitely had shades of a band that you and I are both familiar with. You probably have a good guess of who I'm going to say there, but I'll get to it in a bit. But yeah, and it ended up going there without me knowing that it would within the first, I don't know, 50 seconds or, whatever it is. I didn't think that based off that we would end up where we did, but I'm still glad that that's where the final destination was. So yeah, the tune interestingly kicks off with a little noodling about on an acoustic bass before it is quickly joined by its 6-string counterpart. I don't know many songs that just up and start off with the acoustic bass, so this is a lot of fun to listen to. And somewhere around here, actually it's directly behind me, is my acoustic bass. I think you can just see the headstock popping in there by John. So yeah, it's always fun. I always love writing on the acoustic bass. It's just easy. You can move around with it, and then you can be like, yeah, let me see how this translates to the electric, and then that's when you plug in and piss off all your neighbors and folks that live with you. But yeah, it's always fun jamming out on an acoustic bass. The speaking of bass, the bass drum then joins in with the pace of a slightly elevated heart rate, moving along before the singer haunts the mix with a beautifully airy and delicate voice. And the delicate nature of her voice perhaps could be an indicator as to the state of her needy reliance or codependence, given the opening stanza of the lyrics as she sings, "You're my last breath. You're a breath of fresh air to me. I am empty. So tell me you care for me," which really illustrates her sort of deep rooted need for this person right out of the gate. I mean, imagine the ego on this guy having, if you heard this woman singing this about him, I'm sure he'd feel quite full of himself. The following stanzas only further underscore this dynamic between our singer and the subject of her affection, as she conveys that the person is the first and last thing on her mind, and that in their arms she feels sunshine. That's a sweet sentiment. Uh, and as the music moves with like a flowing river beneath her voice, and she declares she feels sunshine in her in the arms of that person, I catch a faint industrial percussive sound that is fleeting. There is also this frictious one, and I love this. Like I love these little injections of slightly faint or a little low in the mix percussive additions and accoutrements. It adds a little variance to the soundscape and our little sort of Where's Waldo bits of music that unfold as the song progresses. And I just thought that that was really fun and engaging for me as the listener. Um, she then seems to sing. She sings of the promise of a daydream yet to come, and how the time is upon them, while also acknowledging the night is young, as if she's like tempering her own enthusiasm. Like she's like, I need that, but hey, the night is young. We'll see how this unfolds. She also mentions how flowers blossom in the winter. And again, the feeling of sunshine in this person's arm. So clearly, she's quite the smitten little kitten, it would sound like. And emerging and sustaining throughout these two stanzas is this resonant keynote, slightly low in the mix, but ever present. But then, punctuating the soundscape without much warning, appears what sounds like a stroke of bow on strings. And this sort of acts as a point of demarcation and a shift in the song. And now I feel thrust into a random portion of a Jamiroquai track as we get this sort of acid jazz disco vibe going on. And with this comes a shift in her delivery, which itself now is more rhythmic and slightly sped up. All the while, the strings continue to play this lovely motif in line with the pattern of her vocal delivery. She sings of giving herself up to the moment and making the moment last. And as she delivers the final line of this repeated portion of the music cuts out as she hits the word moment, allowing for a pregnant pause before she lands on last. This signals another shift in the music as things hush down just a bit, with that heart rate like bass drum holding things together. Though we also hear bits of tinkling keys, faint strum work on the guitar, and that bow languidly stretching across those strings. But then the pace quickens again, and we get another iteration of that chorus about giving yourself up to the moment, the time being now, and making that moment last. This repeats a few times, and we get treated to more of this lovely string work and just the agility of the rhythmic movements throughout this part. It feels light on its feet and nimble, almost like it's deftly bouncing on air. Then syncopated with each note of the string, she sings, "Let's make this moment last," as the strings sustain and the keys pensively tinkle beneath the resonance until the song comes to an end on just the movement of that keyed motif. And there towards the end, I sort of had this, which one's going to outlast the other? Because you had the keys doing their thing and the strings doing another. And it turned out that the keys had more stamina and lasted up until the very end of the song. Yeah, I really enjoyed where the song ended up going, not thinking that that's where it would be. And that made it all that much more fun and enjoyable, I suppose. It had all that rhythmic movement that I enjoyed and the shades of Jamiroquai or the Twat in the Hat, as you told me he is referred to in certain parts of the world. They were all very welcomed. The arrangement and the interplay between those keys and those strings was a pleasure to listen to as well. It was all really, really good stuff. So my interest is piqued. I don't often hear a lot of bands like this much anymore. I mean, they seem to have a fleeting time in the sun, and then a lot of which the oxygen for that movement was swallowed up by Jamiroquai. I mean, I almost always I know that there are others, but as far as those that had success breaking through, particularly on this side of the Atlantic, it really seemed like Jamiroquai was the standard bearer for that, almost on an island. I know that that's likely a misconception. It's like thinking all grunge is Nirvana, or, insert, representative of any subgenre movement. But yeah, so it was nice. It was nice to hear someone else do this and do it seemingly just as well. Sure, the acoustic bass was great. Didn't quite have the same bass work that some of the Jamiroquai stuff has that I've loved so much, but it had all these interesting bits and bobbles to it that I really liked a lot. So tell me more about these guys, John.
Yeah, thank you for that, Andy. Interesting. Interesting. Um, yeah, the reason why I picked this song was I thought this was an interesting take on a standard. It falls halfway between, it's a dance song, and it's certainly, I would call it almost modern disco.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Which is
yeah.
which is
Definitely.
what Jamiroquai ended up doing,
Yeah.
from the acid jazz start beginnings, through he nearly quit after Return of the Space Cowboy because it didn't sell as many as he thought it would. And they came out with Traveling Out Moving, and then Synchronized was the disco apex of his output
Yeah.
and Heat, etc. Which interesting was a year before this song, so that gives a context.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, really interesting. Moloko were an English-Irish electronic music duo. This is why this song's so interesting, because most of their stuff is pure electronic dance output, and this wasn't.
Yeah.
So they were formed in Sheffield, in England, and they consisted of vocalist Roisin Murphy and producer Mark Bryden, and they're known as electronic, dance pop, alternative dance, and trip hop.
Mm.
So Murphy had no prior professional singing experience when Moloko was formed, while Bryden had previously worked in music as a producer with musicians such as Boy George and Cabaret Voltaire in releases during the 90s. So in 1994, the two met at a party in Sheffield where Murphy approached Bryden with a chat-up line, "Do you like my tight sweater? See how it fits my body." That sentence became the debut album's title, which was recorded while the pair had begun dating. So the name Moloko comes from the narcotic-filled milk drink, a Moloko Plus, in the Anthony Burgess novel A Clockwork Orange. So the group's debut album, Do You Like My Tight Sweater, was released in 1995. The group toured with Pulp following the release. After they finished the tour, they built themselves a home studio and recorded their second album, titled I Am Not a Doctor, which was released in 1998. Although the album was unsuccessful commercially, it only reached number 64 in the charts in the UK. A Boris Dlugosch, who knows? It's a hand of Scrabble is what it is. They're rearranged, for God's sake. Anyway, they remixed Sing It Back, which is the third single from that album, which had flopped and not managed to reach the charts. When they remixed it, it became a huge hit, reached number 4 in the UK charts and number 1 in the US dance charts, and they're on their way. So the next album they did, Things to Make and Do, which you saw the thumbnail on the video you watched, was released in the year 2000, and it reached number 3 in the UK album charts and went platinum. Their first single off this album, The Time Is Now, is what you listened to. It was their biggest hit, and it charted at number 2 in the UK. Now, the band conceived the song as an acoustic dance recording, not wanting to turn it into a loud, drum-heavy track, unlike much of their earlier work. Mark Bryden recalled, It's probably the closest we've come to sitting down with a guitar and writing a song. We thought we'd try and make a track with the same structure as a dance record, but keep it acoustic. There was this temptation to put a big snare or something, but every time we did that, it upset the balance. Being constrained by the budget, we couldn't really afford the full-on disco strings, so it's not exactly Love Unlimited Orchestra. Ah, bless Barry White. We got this quartet in, though, to do more of a Curtis Mayfield thing. We think of them as street strings. All Music said, check out the nylon-string guitar in the flamenco-flavoured The Time Is Now, which faintly recalls Basement Jack's Rendezvous and adds a timeless quality to the music overall. Pop culture website Freaky Trigger compared the shimmering acoustic intro of the song to Steve Harley's Cockney Rebels 1975 Make Me Smile, Come Up and See Me song, which is a pretty good call, actually, and called the string arrangement perfect, referring to the track as one of the most emotionally affecting top 10 hits for years. And British electronic dance and clubbing magazine Mixmag, which is never off my coffee table, included The Time Is Now in their list of the best bass lines in dance music in 2020, writing, another hit from the heady days of the new millennium. On Time Is Now, Moloko set out to make an epic club banger, they're all capitalized, using instruments, imagine, and players. Here they're accompanied by a quartet, and that strolling bass line sounds like the first Aperol spritz of summer to us. Blue skies, a cool breeze, and no worries other than where the next bev is coming from. Happy times. So yeah, the lyrics. You're my last breath. You're a breath of fresh air to me. I am empty, so tell me you care for me. You're the first thing and the last thing on my mind. In your arms I feel sunshine. All the promise, a daydream yet to come. Time is upon us, but oh, but the night is young. Flowers blossom in the winter time. In your arms I feel sunshine. Give up yourself unto the moment. The time is now. Give up yourself unto the moment. Let's make this moment last. You may find yourself out on a limb for me. Could you accept it as part of your destiny? I give all I have, but it's not enough. My patience all shot, so I'm calling your bluff. Give up yourself unto the moment. The time is now. Give up yourself unto the moment. Let's make this moment last. Give up yourself unto the moment. The time is now. Give up yourself unto the moment last. Get this sort of bridgy bit, which is really musically very interesting, I thought. And we gave it time. All eyes are on the clock. Time takes too much time. Please make the waiting stop. And they do something with a note there that changes and bends as they are doing this. Please make the waiting stop, and the atmosphere is charged. In you I trust, and I feel no fear as do as I must. Give up yourself until this moment. The time is now. Blah, 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 blah. Tempted by fate, and I won't hesitate. The time is now. And I can't wait. I've been empty too long. The time is now. Pretending that it's gone and the time has come. Let's make this moment last. And the night is young. Time is now. Let's make this moment last. Give up yourself until the moment. The time is now. Give up yourself until the moment. Let's make this moment last. So yeah, it's just a dancey club hit that's done extremely well, and done from a point of view of, as you say, the two acoustic instruments as a starting point rather than keys, and they gone from there. And so I think makes it just quite a singular sort of effort. Really, there's not much else like it in their output that's as good as this.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
That's fair.
However, they carry this on. Their 2003 album Statues produced two more hit singles. Bryden and Murphy had ended their romantic relationship the year before in 2002, just before they began work on the album. Murphy then toured without Bryden for 18 months in support of the album through 2003, 2004. And following the tour, when it ended, the group disbanded. Afterwards, both Murphy and Bryden began solo careers, with Murphy releasing her first solo album, Ruby Blue, in 2005. Now, her third album, Hairless Toys, was nominated for the 2015 Mercury Prize, and her latest album, Hit Parade, was released in 2023 to critical acclaim.
Ooh.
Really was. She also appeared very memorably on Later with Jules Holland, supporting that album, and she did a couple of songs. including a really suitably eccentric performance of Cuckoo, where she sported some extreme headgear. And yeah, I
Something
don't,
about this subgenre or members of it and their headwear.
yeah, she blew me away. The performance. I mean, it was just full of charisma, and it was a little bit unhinged,
Uh-huh.
and which is how I like my women. Um, and but no, it was superb, and so I checked out the album. The album's really cool as well. So she has gone down the sort of pop route, but it's alternative pop. It's
Hmm.
seen through a glass bizarrely rather than darkly. Really creative and superb. And so I might dig out some of her solo stuff for you to listen to. I'll have another listen through and see what I think.
Cool.
But yeah, really interesting. And the fact that she's had her voice is superb, and the fact that she's had no training just makes it more. You can see how you can hear from how they met that she's a character, as they say.
Yes, yeah. And it's impressive to hear that she didn't have any formal vocal training going into this experience because her voice
Yeah,
had this the quality of her voice stuck with me more than a lot of others that we've even I've brought to the channel or that you brought to the channel. There's something I it's not quite the same, certainly isn't, but there's this quality that to her voice that Bjork has in this song where it's like, ooh, this seems like almost otherworldly, or like a pixie could be singing this song or something like that. You know what I mean?
there's expression in it, isn't there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it almost sounds fragile and delicate how she executes it as well. So all of that made me that much more engaged with her delivery, and then hung on her every word, which is why I was able to pick up so much of it, because I really was enamored with her voice. It wasn't until I started honing in on some of the interesting auxiliary percussive choices, and then the evolution of the song into, in my opinion, much more of a dance mix forward type sound, and out of that acoustic motif that the song started with. Yeah, it was all really interestingly packaged.
Yeah, like you said about the sort of the percussion and the various sound effects. Yeah, the production on this and other songs they've done is always really, and so you get this lovely sort of feel to the songs as well. It
Nice.
feels intimate at the start when they're beginning, and
Yeah.
then it becomes this big display at the end.
And her
Um,
voice definitely lends into that intimacy as well.
yeah,
Too. So yeah.
exactly. Um, cool. All right, I shall wrap things up. Thanks for listening, Sandy.
Thank you.
Probably be the one and done for Moloko, but there might be other stuff with Madame Rasheen that we may listen to in the future. So yeah, folks out there, please tell us what you think. Slightly different to the usual output from this channel. So yeah, welcome your thoughts. If you like this, do hit the like button and drop some comments. We'd love to hear what you think. Um, if you haven't subscribed already, please do. We really appreciate everybody who does support the channel. So put on those nose clips, that diving cap, and take the plunge. That being said, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see all of you on the next episode of the Audiophiles.
See you later, guys.